Arquebus, Men of Iron. Game designed by Richard Berg, subtitled The Battles for Northern Italy, 1495 to 1544. GMT Games, published last year, 2017. So, I'm still struggling. I am struggling to have something in the system catch me. I'm just going to keep trying. I own every game in the series. I tried Infidel. I tried Blood and Roses. Haven't tried yet the original Men of Iron. Anyways, I'm just going to keep trying. And I guess at this point, if something ever catches me, I'm going to definitely make it really clear about that. But otherwise, I'm just trying to find something. All right. Completely uninitiated. I'm just going to try again. Okay, so Arquebus extended sequence of play obviously uses a continuous activation, which, again, as a concept is great. So the first phase is called Phase A. It's activation phase. If this is a free activation, so there's free activation. Choose a battle. So there's battle. I can already tell you, battles this is the Renaissance. Units are organized into larger organizations, call them divisions, whatever you want to call. I guess they're using somewhat of a period flavor term here of battle. Okay, so it's a formation. There's an army activation, which sounds like those kind of higher functions that don't apply to a single formation. Then you have a standard. So I do remember that. We have a standard for each side. Okay, not sure what to do with those yet, but those are the standards, and there's some type of standard rules mechanic or pass. Okay, if pass is chosen, well, we're not going to choose pass. Well, I guess we got to figure out who the first player is. And then let's figure out, I assume this is a free activation, but let's figure that out. Okay, so the scenario rules are very clear section. Who goes first, which is great. The French side have the first activation to start the game. So while I'm here, because we are going to start with this first activation, might as well talk about leaders and battles for this battle in particular, Cerignola. Leaders and battles. This is a very small battle. So the only leaders for each side are the overall commanders. I was wondering because I never found the battle commanders. Okay, so overall commanders. Each OC, overall commander, is the battle leader for all battles for his side, and his activation rating is used for all continuation rolls. Even though the same leader is used for all battles, a battle that was just activated cannot roll for continuation. So you still act by battle, I guess. The French have two battles: infantry, black command stripe, and cavalry, red command stripe. The Spanish have three battles: infantry, which is brown, which you can see that. Here's the Spanish infantry, the brown stripe on the bottom of the counters. Over here is the French infantry with the black stripes. Here's the French cavalry with the red stripe. Cavalry, okay, so the Spanish cavalry is red as well. So both sides have their cavalry in red. And then the Spanish also have our two artillery pieces, which have a green command stripe. Okay, so each OC is the battle leader for all battles for his side. Okay. To continue on with the extended sequence of play, it also says, obviously, if the active player passes, the non-active player gets a free activation. Okay, but then it says the time marker may be moved. So in this game, I don't remember seeing this in the earlier ones. So here's a time marker. It's on the back. Okay, time marker. That, again, well, that's something to consider here. So I assume that this was going to be a free activation, but a free activation is a non-continuation. Okay, that's obvious because we didn't continue up to this point. Non-seized activation makes sense. We didn't seize this activation. It is a free activation if it is the first activation of the game. Hey, that's us. Or the activation that follows the opposing player passing or failing a continuation or seizure roll. Actually, that's what we just mentioned. So that's free activation. We know it's a battle. So actually, I think... Okay, so I think I'm going to activate... So the French have the first activation. I think they're going to activate the infantry. Reason being, I first wanted to activate my cavalry here, but realistically, I'm going to go with the infantry first, and because obviously we have a Spanish front line here that's behind ramparts and a ditch. So it seems to me it might be better to advance with the infantry first and see how that goes. So I think that they all the black infantry here activate. We do have different kinds here. To keep that in mind, we've got we have pikemen. Oh, 7 units of pikemen. They have looks like they have no ranged combat capability at all. Over here we have 5. We have 5. Oh, actually it's only 2 types. Pikemen, no ranged combat capability, and 5 SB is sword and buckler units, and they do have, looks like they have crossbows. -2 CB, I think that's crossbows. So, and they're looking at the Spanish. The Spanish have a couple of cavalry way over there, a couple of cavalry here. These cavalry seem to be deployed at the seams between the sword and bucklers on the flanks and the pikemen in the center. So the Spaniards have a line of 5 pikemen units here, 2 sword and buckler units on each side, and they do have range capability. Looks like they have arquebuses. And then the mounted men-at-arms units, these 2, they're still the 2 over there, but these 2 seem to be behind the seams between the sword and buckler infantry and the pikemen. Okay, so yeah, so I wonder about sending the crossbowmen against those arquebuses. Isn't that funny? These pikemen, I guess that's the funny, not funny, that's the interesting thing about this game, is that these pikemen have arquebuses too. So, let's see, and they're -2 AQ, and the French are -2 CB or crossbow. Okay, so, where was I? Time, we don't deal with the standard right now. So, move fire phase. During army activation, activated units may only move. This is not an army activation. During a battle activation, that's us. Any or all units of the activated battle may move and or fire. So, I'm going to advance the infantry. Let's see. Is there any... I guess I'll talk about it, then I'll come back and show it. Of course, I'm wondering what... Okay, so as I move my French infantry forward, what can the Spanish side do at the same time? But we have place any replacement leaders. We're not going to have that. Before any unit is moved or fires, first the non-active player plays any battle cry or unsteady troops. I just want to get to the base mechanics first. Yeah. Before any unit is moved or fires, check command status. We would do that, but this is the start of the game. I assume everybody's in command. A foot unit armed with missile weapons. We do have the sword and bucklers with the crossbows. Oh, this is probably is important. A foot unit armed with missile weapons or a mounted arquebus unit may fire only at the end of its move. There we go. So that tells me my crossbowmen move. How far are they going to get? How far are they going to get? 1, 2. So then, I guess it'll come down to range and if it costs any movement points to fire. Okay. Let's see, light cavalry. Do we have any light cavalry? I don't think so. Light cavalry archers. We do have genitors. I'm not sure. I guess I'll say genitors for now. I keep going back and forth. I can't tell. Is it a hard or soft G? And mounted crossbow. Do we have mounted crossbow? We have stratiotes. Oh yeah, mounted crossbow. That's a mounted crossbow unit right there. Okay, so we do have mounted crossbows. Genitors and... I did it again. I keep wanting to do the hard G. And mounted crossbow units may fire before, during, okay, or at the end of their move. That's important to know. Okay, so it's foot versus the other mounted type. A unit may fire without moving. A unit, oh yeah. Each unit must finish its movement firing before another unit may begin to move fire. The non-active player, I guess this is what I was really looking for. The non-active player's units may qualify for reaction return fire, okay. Or countercharge, depending on the active player's actions, okay. After movement in an army okay, this is not an army activation. So very basic. I just moved up my infantry, but I kept them short of going adjacent, not because I am not wanting to go adjacent to the enemy this early, but actually I wanted to keep my French forces contiguous here, so I thought I would keep them on that line like that, so they're, again, they form a continuous line with the cavalry over here. Okay, so now the issue is the French pike. That's funny, they're actually Swiss, but on the French side. But I'm not going to call them French. They're labeled Swiss, so they're on the French side. But the Swiss pikemen don't have any range capabilities, so they're not doing anything. They have a movement allowance, by the way, of 3, one less than the French sword and buckler unit. So now it's only issue of the French sword and buckler units. They do have the crossbows. So this would, I think, be active fire. I think that I think they qualify or are eligible for active fire. The fire range DRM chart says that they can fire out to 2 hexes, so they should be able to fire at the opposite Spanish infantry. Again, I guess I'll get more detail. The Landsknecht and the Spanish sword and bucklers. Okay. Now, what's important I figured out is, okay, so they're firing. What is return fire in this case? So the French, I guess I can go 1 unit at a time, but yeah, we will. Let's go 1 unit at a time and see. I'm actually going to go like this. This French sword and buckler unit is going to fire their crossbows. 1, 2. Oh, I know why. Okay, I'm going to do this for mechanics reasons, but now I see some reasons why to not do this no, tactically speaking. Okay, but mechanics wise, that's what's important right now. They're going to fire 1, 2. Now, return fire is, and this is very interesting. I won't, I am going to comment on it, but not going to get into a monologue. But when fired at by enemy missile units within the unit's range, and this Landsknecht pikeman unit has arquebus weapons, and the arquebus have a range of 2 hexes as well, so they're within range. The return fire and the active fire resolve simultaneously before any results are applied. Very interesting. That looks to me like a specific and probably extremely deliberate designer decision. But hey, okay. Now, in this case, though, non-artillery missile units may not use return fire if fired at through a rear hex. That makes sense. Here we go. Pike and sword and buckler infantry armed with crossbows or arquebus may not conduct return fire. May not conduct return fire. That makes a lot of sense. I was wondering about that. But it has here in parentheses, reflecting the smaller number of missile-armed men, the slow rate of fire of these weapons, and the men being spread out across the formation. That's what I was wondering. So in this case, the French sword and buckler units are going to fire their crossbows at the Landsknecht pikemen, but they cannot conduct return fire. Okay, so there's going to be that fire. There's going to be this fire, which is the same, but here, French crossbowmen, or sword and buckler units with crossbows, they're firing at that unit, but that unit's a sword and buckler infantry armed with crossbows or arquebus. They're armed with arquebus, so they cannot conduct return fire either because of the mixed organization there. Okay, let's see if there are any results of fire. So the first French sword and buckler unit fired crossbows here, missed wildly. Second unit fired here and rolled an 8, which I guess I will be talking about that one. And then the third unit fired obliquely like this and missed as well. So out of 3 crossbow attacks, we got 1 disordered, which is actually the best we could possibly get under these circumstances. So basic, very, very basic, but let's review. Alright, I correct myself real quickly. I flipped that unit back over. Not only were they not disordered, these units can't get any effect here. That's really interesting. Okay, but this is what's going on. So for each of these, they would not have fired. Now I see that. Let's just go DRM for missile fire range. Right up here, so it is handheld crossbow at a range of 2 hexes. So I was, well, when I started, I wasn't sure if low was good or high was good. I think I was defaulting to low is good. Maybe that's a holdover from a Vivictus game. But actually high is what you want. Yep, high is definitely what you want here. So, range, -2. Terrain, it is -1 for the rampart. Actually, all of them are behind a rampart. Then missile fire DRM from the counter. That is the one that I forgot. That's the one that matters. And all of the, so it's the small -2 CB in the top center. So that is the missile fire DRM and the missile fire type. So -2 DRM, CB or crossbow for type. So with -5, even if you get a 9, that's gonna adjust to a 4, and you come over here to the fire results table. Target on foot. They're all on foot here. They're all normal, not disordered, and so you need greater than equal to 5 to get disordered. So you can't, you can't get an effect. Now, what could happen in different circumstances? I guess if the target's already disordered, you can get an effect. But basically, fresh units, I guess to summarize, fresh units at a range of 2 hexes. Let's see. Yeah, and the ramparts. The ramparts also puts it over the top. It's just ineffective fire. Okay.